As one says, when disaster strikes and the stress levels are at an all-time high due to life issues. Welcome to Hawk Scooter. I told you guys from day one of this year that Hawk Scooter is about all things anime and animation. After putting this off for so long, for so many years, this came out in 2014. And I've been wanting to watch it for such a long time, I just haven't gotten around to it. But now I can say I have finally watched Over the Garden Wall. And man, let's just go ahead and get into these origins, guys. Over the Garden Wall is a show created in 2014 by Patrick McHale. From what I heard, it was a pitch at first and stayed that way for years because one of the people who helped work on it went to help with Adventure Time. But around 2013, after some time had passed, they issued him to create a show, and he came out with a film that would come along to be Over the Garden Wall's pilot, Tomb of the Unknown. I haven't seen that yet. Tell me if I should or not, because I'd actually like to know. I think it's a lot different from what the show ended up being, so I don't necessarily think I have to watch it, but it'd be an interesting watch nonetheless. I feel like I've learned too much about this accidentally. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, while I'm searching for stuff, sometimes it's just really hard to stop. It's just really hard to stop. Like, if the Wikipedia was longer, I'd know more stuff. I'm joking. But there's a lot of metaphors and meanings and themes surrounding death and Over the Garden Wall, and I just wanted to talk about it with you guys since it's a little bit of a scary month, and death is pretty scary, so let's talk about death. Death is something we as humans are afraid of. It's something we cannot control, something that we don't know if there's anything afterwards, in the afterlife. We don't know if there is an afterlife. And it's just quite scary to think about lying there alone, lifeless, with no one else around you. It's just quite sad and scary. There are a lot of media that depict an afterlife after death. And since this is a Cartoon Network show, I decided, I'm going to keep it in the Cartoon Network family with my references. Stuff like Regular Show, Adventure Time, and even The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy all have different depictions of the afterlife. Most have this standard thing of one world governed by one ruler, whether it's death, the Grim Reaper, the devil. They all kinda are the same character. And in this show, it's no different, but this character is referred to as the Beast. The Beast wanders around the afterlife, or forest in this show, in search for lost travelers to drain them of their hope, in order to, consume their essence, in order to keep himself alive. In media, with this one included, the dark figure in the woods or the man in the woods have always been depicted as a metaphor for the devil. One reference that comes to mind is the Scarlet Letter because we're forced to read it for school. So there's that. The story follows two brothers, Greg and Wirt. We as an audience don't really know how they end up getting lost in the woods, but we know they had to find their way back home, and that's the baseline for the entire series. They go through a lot of places and meet a lot of people along the way. A woodsman who's trying to keep his daughter alive, a village full of skeletons dressed as pumpkins for some reason, a witch, a possessed chick who tries to devour and devours actual people, which is very frightening. It's interesting that within the show, death doesn't really seem to be the end. Everybody is either not realizing that they're dead or just kind of living their lives that they have currently in constant fear or regret. The forest itself is referred to as the unknown. Another thing that I would call it is the uncanny. Something that seems so familiar, but something also just seems off about it. And the thing that seems off it makes it very spoopy, very scary, very creepy. You can sense this throughout the entire setting and cast of characters. While they all seem nice from the outside and some not so nice. They all have something to care about, but at the same time, there's something about each of them that's just off, if that makes sense. And it all comes ahead at episode 9. Episode 9 is where things started to make sense to me. Is where they showed the previous events of what happened before they got into the unknown. And everything started to click. Everything just lined up perfectly. The metaphor was no longer a metaphor. It is now the reality that they are in. But you're honestly gonna have to watch episode 9 for yourself to get into the nitty gritty details of it, honestly speaking. I'm not spoiling that for you. You will have to watch that for yourself. Overall, this show was great. I've been meaning to watch the show since it first started airing. I just never got around to it. It's interesting to see these shows meant for kids tackle things like death in a way that even some adult cartoons would never touch. If I had to say one thing, it's that I hope this never gets another season or spin-off or whatever, because I feel like that ruined the entire story. If you're wondering if you should watch this or not, go ahead. It's like 10 episodes, and each episode's 10 minutes long. You could literally knock this out in an hour and a couple more minutes. I would highly recommend this to anybody, any animation lover. I would highly recommend this to you. But that's basically it. What are your opinions on Over the Garden Wall? What are your opinions on death in itself? How do you feel Over the Garden Wall tackled death in ways that other animation hasn't yet? I heard somewhere, or some people have said, that each episode is a different metaphor, a different way that they show death. I would like to know each of those ways, because I could only see so much for myself. I'm mainly focused on the theme of the overall story, not necessarily like the weird details of each episode as they come about. That definitely take a lot of rewatching and stuff to get to those. So I'd really like to know some of those. But yeah, just give me your opinions, give me some fun facts that you may know and not nobody else knows. I'm very good with words. But yeah, I'll see you guys around next time. Like, comment, subscribe, yada yada yada. You know the drills. Boop 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 doop. And yeah. Goodbye.
So fight and fight.